the children are exposed to at school. Imagine if your child found what some call hate material in their textbooks. For example, phrases like Hindus can never become true friends for Muslims, or Christians being described as fanatic clergymen. Well, our correspondent Taha Siddiqui has been to see the problem for himself and what other schools are trying to do to counteract it.
In this state school 50 kilometres from Islamabad, 850 students start each morning reciting the Quran and singing the Pakistani national anthem. The school dates back to British colonial rule. Today's history lesson is about that era, the partition with India and the creation of Pakistan.
Caravans that were on the way to Pakistan were attacked by Hindus and Sikhs. Not a single Muslim was left alive in trains coming to Pakistan.
One by one, pupils read aloud from a textbook issued by the government.
Hindu narrow-mindedness and white conspiracies against us led to the need for this Islamic country, Pakistan.
I think Hindus are against Pakistan, against Islam. That's how they are. And even the British and the non-Muslims, they still oppose Pakistan.
Students are required to learn the scripts by heart. In many chapters, Hindus are referred to as gangsters, while Christians are described as violent crusaders. Not far away, in another school, these teachers have gathered to denounce what they believe is an incorrect and dangerous curriculum.
Even when the subject is English, it's all about Islam.
This report is handed out, entitled The Programme of Hatred. One of its authors explains the problem with such content being taught to children.
They define Pakistani nationalism in a very narrow sense. They try to define all of it in terms of an Islamic identity and try to show Muslims and Pakistanis to be victims of all kinds of conspiracies from all sorts of people and countries, as a result of which people become very paranoid and they become infused with very narrow-mindedness, and therefore for them extremism is the answer.
We took this report to the man appointed by the government to head the committee that decides on the curriculum and textbooks. He agrees there are mistakes, but says he's helpless to do anything about it.
We try our best, because since our society, you understand, you belong to the religious people, or they are different people, they try to put that thing. But at the government level, at the university level, we try to check. But still there are certain limitations.
Schools are left to their own devices to counter the extremist literature. At this private school outside Islamabad, the head teacher has designed her own textbooks. Her school has around 100 students. Today they're learning about Mother Teresa.
Extremism can be beaten through the schools and through the education system and by developing proper curriculum. Almost all of the lessons, they teach children to understand rather than being tolerant, because when you're tolerating somebody, you're doing it with some anger inside of you.
This school is the first to dare challenge the state education system in such a way. It's a brave move, since going against the grain has cost the lives of 400 members of religious minorities this year.
Well, Taha Siddiqui joins us now from Islamabad. Taha, you said in your report there that it's a bit of a deadly mission, really, to challenge the view that many now hold in Pakistan. So what proof is there that this curriculum of hatred, as many call it, is translating into prevailing extremism there in Pakistan?
Well, yes, definitely. When we see, as the figures mentioned in the report also, just this year there have been over 400 deaths related to the religious minorities. They were attacked by the majority, usually in cases which were never proven. But there are people who think that religious minorities are being attacked by the majority. Also, I mean, if you look at these statistics, on an average in Pakistan, annually we have around about 100 blasphemy cases in which carries a death sentence sentence, and these are usually blasphemy cases registered once again against the religious minorities. So we see these statistics point to the fact that the extremism in the society is increasing and the intolerance is increasing. Now, what this intolerance and extremism is translating into another dangerous trend is the fact that it gives rise to conspiracy theories, as one of the educationists in the report says. The conspiracy theories, what it does is, for example, we saw last month the Malala incident happened, where this 14-year-old girl was shot by the Taliban. Now, later on to that, in Pakistan, the debate went on to not from punishing to these people who these are, but the fact that who Malala was used by, whether she was a CIA agent or things like that. And so such conspiracy theories then actually give rise to the fact that it becomes an easy recruitment process for the Taliban, for other extremist groups to easily penetrate into these minds, because these are young minds growing up when they're 14, 15, even when they're in their college time, they're easily recruited into these groups, and that is what is more dangerous, and that is how we're seeing the translation of it into extremism.
So we saw some teachers in your report trying to bring improvement to these textbooks, but is the government and the public supportive of any change at all?
Well, yes, we did see these teachers. In fact, these teachers were brought there by these educationists and human rights activists who are trying to increase awareness. They're going around the country to do this, but the response they're getting from the teachers is that the teachers are going to go back into those schools. They're going to teach the same textbooks again. They don't have any control, any limitation. They're limited to their own textbooks, which are provided to them by the government. And so they're going to continue on teaching with those same textbooks, even though they complain about it. Now, the problem is whether the government is doing anything or not. When we talk about the government, back in 2004, the government did try, under the President General Musharraf, the government did try to bring amendments after recommendations were given by Mr. A.H. Nair, which we discussed in our report. But these recommendations never made it to actual changes, because, for example, there were some changes done to the word jihad. Jihad was taken out of the textbooks of the children's textbooks, and in its restrictive sense, to fight against the infidels. That was taken out, and it was reintroduced as with a broader meaning of jihad, for doing good, for avoiding evil and things like that. And the religious parties had a very bad. They came out on the roads. They had an uproar in the parliament, and because Musharraf was an illegitimate ruler and he needed support of these religious parties, he backed down. So we did not see any changes happening, and up until today, even these recommendations keep coming up. But because the people have become so institutionalized with these mindsets, it is very hard to change them.
Taha, thanks very much. Taha Siddiqui, our correspondent there in Islamabad. That was today's focus here on France 24. Stay with us.